Kogi, a state in central Nigeria with about 4.5 million inhabitants. The state consists of a wooded savanna region bisected by the southward flowing Niger River, which form the confluence with the Benue River at Lokoja, the Kogi State capital. In spite of its numerous mineral resources, agriculture is the mainstay of Kogi economy. The state is known for coffee, cashew, groundnut, cocoa, oil palm, rice and yam crops. Riverine fishing is also indigenous to the people of Kogi due to concentration of water bodies where the state derives its name, Kogi, meaning river. Agriculture always plays an essential role in the economy of every country, not only because it provides food for the population, but also helps to connect and interact with all the related industries, contribute to improving the living standards of all, build livelihoods, especially for the poorest in the society. To this end, the federal government of Nigeria introduced the Agro-Processing, Productivity, Enhancement and Livelihood Improvement Support APPEALS, a 6-year project developed by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development in collaboration with the World Bank, the participating states and other stakeholders. The APPEALS project is redefining livelihood for many, including women, youths and persons with disability in the 6 participating states of Cross River, Enugu, Kaduna, Kano, Kogi and Lagos. The project is in line with the Agricultural Promotion Policy 2016 to 2020, also known as the Green Alternative, which built on the legacy of the Agricultural Transformation Agenda and plans to support policy thrust on food security, local production, job creation, economic diversification, export potential, and improved livelihood. The project also aims at enhancing farmers' productivity and effective participation in the value chains.
The objective of the project is to enhance productivity of small and medium-scale farmers and value addition of priority value chains in the 6 participating states.
In Kogi State, the APPEALS program has grown in leaps and bounds, touching lives and lifting thousands out of the web of poverty.
Kogi State is one out of the 6 states who are beneficiaries of the APPEALS program in Nigeria today. We were not one of the early entrants, but immediately Kogi State got on the list of benefiting states. We showed our passion and leadership role in ensuring that we abide by the laid down criteria and followed the due processes to ensuring that our people, especially women, people living with disability, and young people get the optimal benefits of the APPEALS program.
In Kogi State, APPEALS project has about 3 main value chains in Kogi State, namely rice, cassava and cashew. So under the Women and Youth Empowerment Program, we extended beyond the 3 value chains in Kogi State into other value chains, which include the poultry, the aquaculture, horticulture, wheat, then cocoa and dairy. This is what we're intended to deliver in Kogi State, and not to forget that the project development objective is to enhance small and medium scale farmers.
The Kogi APPEALS Women and Youth Program is one of the first among other participating states to have completed the training of 1,600 beneficiaries and 100 people living with disability and special needs, making a total of 1,700 APPEAL-WYEP out of over 5,000 applications.
There were criteria in the advert we placed. So immediately we looked at all the forms that were submitted, and our first point of call was to look at those that met all those criteria. About 1,700 of them were qualified for this Women and Youth Empowerment. Out of these 1,700, we have about 102 people with disabilities, and because we have to carry everybody along, and it's also important to note that about 55% of the beneficiaries, of those that qualified at the end of the day were female, and just about 45 were male.
By design, we've discovered women and youth play a very critical role as far as farming activities is concerned. In agriculture, you will discover, especially in post-harvest handling, processing, even right from production, you discover women are very much involved. So emphasis now came on to see how we can empower women and youth because of they play an important role in that segment.
If women and youth are not integrated into agriculture, there's likelihood that there's going to be dearth of manpower in agricultural sector, and that is what forms the basis of women and youth subcomponent into the project. We have decided to centralize our enrollment process by making every beneficiary that is interested in participating in the project to come to the office to get the form free of charge. So, in that, any beneficiary that is able to leave his place of comfort to come to the office, the interest has already been seen, the commitment has already been testified, and seriousness or interest has already, been shown. Yes.
Through a painstaking and transparent selection process, the women and youth beneficiaries were drawn from the 3 senatorial zones of the state: Kogi West, Kogi Central, and Kogi East.
I've never heard about appeals. I don't know anybody there. So I just felt, okay, just shortly before then, I'd resolved that come as an entrepreneur, you need to jump at every opportunity, right? So when I saw that, I decided I was going to jump into it since I was qualified, right? They wanted women and youth, and I'm a youth, right? So I had made up my mind. I resolved that I'll jump at every opportunities, government, private, international donors. I'll jump at every opportunities. So I jumped at it by submitting my expression of interest. I just got a text message that had been shortlisted and invited for an interview.
I'm a graduate. About over 90 years ago, I had a call from a brother of mine that there's a program going on in your state. That's why I have interest in farming. I say appeal. When I inquired, I heard about it, that I heard that the program is on progress. I went to the state headquarters, I obtained form. After then filling the form, I was lucky among the chosen ones. And after then, I thank God for that.
Somebody just told me that there is a project, an empowerment project, because prior to that time I've discussed on my interest with her on agricultural products. So now said, since I said I newly registered a company on agriculture, there is a fund going on with World Bank now, if I can check. And when I went there, I was almost discouraged because the crowd was much. But I said, let me still state in the end.
I was selected by appeals. I'm very seriously jubilate that with the knowledge I have, the appeals have brought me up because I have decided that I have been in dilemma because during the time I have dismissed from the work, I lose discourage that what have I done to my life so that I will succeed because of my condition.
You will learn that there is a application going on in Lokwaja, which we went to. We thought it's about sharing pumping machine and other agricultural inputs, not knowing that it's for empowerment. It was later we were called that our name is shortlisted for interview. We went for the interview without having any mentor or any connection. And as God would do it, we were shortlisted at the end of the day.
So APPEAL project to me is not who know mountain because I never knew anybody from APPEAL.
I am one of the privileged beneficiaries of the APPEALS project. in Kogi State. Right from the application stage down to the implementation, everything has been very sequential and has been in order, and it has been very, very fine.
For us in Kogi State, you must be one who is willing to do farming or that agricultural process. Nobody would make those selections based on political leanings. You must be someone who is in a cooperative or in a cluster. You have the farmland that has been identified, that has been mapped, and then you are within the criteria. For instance, you are a woman, or you are a young person, or you are people living with disability. If there are certain numbers that should be filled by all these cadre of persons, those are the people that will be the beneficiaries.
APPEALS project in Kogi State, I can speak to very well that it was sanitized. It was sanitized so transparent that anybody can benefit regardless of your tribe, regardless of where you come from, regardless of whether you know anybody.
The Women and Youth, as a component of the APPEALS project, supports the reduction of post-harvest losses, facilitates the consolidation of produce and primary processing by farmers' cooperative societies and small and medium-scale enterprises in project intervention areas, focusing on gender-sensitive activities along the core segment of the value chains.
One of the fundamental performance indicators of Kogi State is ability to have been able to integrate more women, because we have 51% above men, which is one of the targets of the project.
I'm one of the members of people with disability in Kogi State from the Central. So we are invited by APPEALS project, and we are introduced by the APPEALS member that we should come and register ourselves, that there are salts from the APPEALS given to us that we are disabled.
We have been able to register all the persons with disabilities and special needs because the project is addressing social inclusion.
The Women and Youth Empowerment Program tells a unique story of resilience and doggedness that have made the Kogi State APPEALS project a pace setter among other implementing states in Nigeria.
If you want to rate or rank Kogi, even by the APPEALS National Coordinating Team, coming into the program late in the day, Kogi tops all other states in the final output of what APPEALS is dedicated to achieve in the lives of rural people by increasing, first, the yield from their agricultural processes, and then adding higher income from all their labor and effort in their agricultural processes.
Kogi State was first in all the states to release counterpart fund in 2019/2020, about 200 million naira to support APPEALS project. And of course, we also have another approval that we are waiting payment any moment from now. So the state government has really been supportive to APPEALS projects. They take it as their own project, and either His Excellency Alhaji Adoza Bello is present in our activity, or the Deputy Governor is there in person to make sure that all what we have said is being carried out the way it ought to be.
With the support of the World Bank's community procurement guidelines, procedures, basic principles on how to own and operate corporate internet banking, and financial management to facilitate disbursement of funds for the establishment of their agribusinesses, the beneficiaries were trained in their chosen agribusiness enterprises along the priority value chains for a successful takeoff.
They go through a 2-week intensive training in the different enterprises of their choice, so that with that training and the skills acquired, they will be very much equipped to go into any kind of enterprise that is sustaining and on a sustainable basis. we try to empower them so that they can also get a livelihood. We just don't want to say we give them job. When we train them, empower them, they can easily stand on their own without them thinking of maybe looking for jobs elsewhere.
I had my training at Federal College of Agriculture, the ABU division at Kaba, where we got trained for 2 weeks in aquaculture value chain, but I settled for fish processing because I had started something in that line. Then we continued to developing our business and investment plan, right? Which just helped us to know how well we manage the funds that was available through the Appeals project.
The 2 weeks training alone was so much for so many persons to be big-time fish farmers, as it were. Some are into the marketing aspect, some are in the processing, and I've interacted with them, and they are really, really doing very well.
Even if I didn't get the grant, the capacity, 2 weeks capacity alone is enough for me. And aside the 2 weeks, I think they've done a lot of capacity building, even on how to manage your customer. They've also done capacity on record keeping.
It is through this appeal project that I learned how to write business plan. I've passed through so many trainings that I cannot mention now. I pray that they keep the good work so that other states can emulate from what this state is doing.
They were also encouraged to register their businesses with the Corporate Affairs Commissions for certification and legitimacy, having submitted their business and investment plans, which also went through a comprehensive review process.
We are looking at them as entrepreneurs, we're looking at them as business owners, no longer as individuals. And with that CAC, they are able to open accounts.
The Kogi Appeals Women and Youth Empowerment Program, WYEP, is in partnership with the Bayero University, Kanu, and ABU College of Agriculture, Kaba, to enable the beneficiaries have continuous access to training and technical supports to ensure successful outcomes.
Another thing is we introduced what we call integrated farm settlements, which of recent we learned that the likes of CBN and others are also trying to emulate and see how it's going to work for them.
We are able to bring the enterprise together in one location in order to equally promote what we call value chain. For instance, those that are into cassava processing, the peels of the cassava is already a waste on them. But those that are into poultry, they process these peels into food for the poultry. This is one of the basic, basic outcome of the integrated farm concepts.
The Kogi Appeals Women and Youth Empowerment Program has enjoyed tremendous support of the state government under the leadership of Governor Yahaya Adoza Bello and his deputy, Chief Edward Onoja, who doubles as the chairman, State Steering Committee for the Appeals Project in Kogi State.
As chairman of the steering committee, my role is to ensure that whatever the technical committee, ably led by the state coordinator, does based on his training and brings forward, we will only review it for correctness in line with our states or government's laid down criteria: balance, gender sensitivity, all inclusivity, and once it flies, then they move with it.
The state executive believes that the beneficiaries have a golden opportunity to become lifetime successful agribusiness entrepreneurs, creating jobs and growing the state economy, which is capable of eradicating the dependence on government for survival.
This fund, as it is being given to you to assist you to improve your well-being, to improve on your agricultural processing skills, it is not just for you to go and withdraw it from the bank and do anything you like. It is a controlled fund, in order that others that have not benefited today, they will benefit tomorrow.
We already have productions coming out. We've had people doing commercialized packaging of their products. I've seen them. And once this becomes a year in, year out activity, we've set thousands of Kogi citizens in entrepreneurship, agri-entrepreneurship. And that would help empower other would-be beneficiary, because as your business grows, you will need hands to expand.
With the coming of APPEAL, it assisted me a lot in achieving my set goal. Because formerly I used to borrow up 150 to 200,000. But with the APPEAL, intervention of APPEAL, make me not to spend or to go into borrowing, in which such like chemicals that I do is to buy chemicals, fertilizer, and even labor costs that I used to hire for my farming. Now with the intervention of APPEAL, this guy I appreciate, I thank God for that.
APPEALs coming into our business or supporting our business has helped to boost our production capacity, our processing capacity. You know, one more kiln was added for us, and that was a huge increase. You know, having a little above 50% increase on your current capacity, that's huge.
When the APPEAL project came in, they now empowered me with the battery cage, this the best 300 point of lay. They gave me the pre-lay mash. They gave me the layer smash. They gave me what I will use for my sanitation, as the wheelbarrow, shovel. Gave me disinfectants, vaccines, and some drugs.
Since the disbursement of funds and subsequent utilization, the beneficiaries are contributing in no small measure to agricultural value chain in the state, thereby ensuring food security, employment generation, and enhanced productivity, as well as guaranteed sustainability of their agribusiness.
At that time, we were having this idea of cassava ships, where I worked 17 years back. I have this idea of cassava ships, but I couldn't start on my own, not until when this APPEAL comes. I resigned from there and I took advantage of this APPEALs with this cassava value chain. And yes, here I am today. And today, as God will do it, I'm able to establish my own cassava ships factory, supplying an off-taker who are into ethanol industry.
We believe that the domino effect would be running into at least 10,000, because you are a beneficiary, you will need more hands on the farm, and you would pay for the services those hands would render. So direct, indirect, about 10,000 people of Kogi citizens, hardworking women, youths, and people living with disability would, in the near future, become big agro players, and it will help with the food security issue.
Kogi APPEALs has really done well because we've been closely monitoring the activities and what they've been able to do in terms of implementation of the women and youth. I think, and with such kind of commitments we are getting from His Excellency, the Governor, as well as the Deputy Governor, the SPC2 has not even rested on his ass. He's doing very well. And from available records that we've been receiving and reports, Kogi has really done much, because they've almost empowered almost all the women and youth in the Kogi State.
I still feel there is a lot of room for improvement. We don't want to be carried away by praises. So what we are concentrating on is areas that we need to improve on.
The Kogi State APPEALs project, targeted at women and youth, is succeeding.
I have supplied my fellow beneficiaries, I think about 9 of them, 18,000 pieces of fish seedlings. That's how much the APPEALs project has impacted me.
The APPEAL really do very, very much food to me, then which empower me, and I also now empower peoples.
I have about 18 staff with me, which I employed, working with me both day and night. With this, I became employer of labor.
As it is now from APPEAL, I have made almost 1 million from the turnover, because once I sell, I go and look for market, I put in money again. So, and the money is there with the evidence in the accounts.
With more support, it is capable of creating diverse job opportunities through skills acquisition programs to the teeming unemployed women and youth in the state and eliminate social vices. The present beneficiaries should be champions and role models for the teeming women and youth in the state.
We want to engage some other youths, that's this year, that we will train free of charge. We'll give them our seedlings, as we now brand it, supported by Appeals, just to say to Appeals that we are grateful for what you did for us.
All the youth around my area and the small children around my area can boast of eating eggs. So I'm here to thank the Appeals project, thank the World Bank.
There was this ugly incident that happened to Next Cash and Carry in Abuja, which happened to be one of our biggest customers, right? So if not for the intervention of Appeals, our working capital would have been so lean and supplying them would have crashed us by now. I'm really happy for the help and I'm grateful for the support.
The State Coordinating Office is working to ensure that no project is abandoned. They have put in place modalities to discourage waste, diversion of business capital, and other sharp practices.
If other government interventions had been implemented this way, right, even more beyond the selection process, the procurement process is something I'd never seen before, right? The way this has been implemented, the way the procurement process was implemented, sincerely, it's just the way to go right now for us, especially in this country. A lot of money being disbursed, we hear so many stories about it, but this is so different.
This appeal project will not die. It will be sustained because of the discipline they have. They follow everything they provided. We were made to bring out service providers. They brought out their quotations and we did the prices. The service providers came, brought the items. They follow every bit of the steps. Up to today, as I am talking to you, Appeal Project have not they have not allowed us to rest. They make sure that the project is sustained and nobody touches the capital.
It's now left for me because the project, the grant is mine. Appeal is not taking it from me. It's my grant. So it's now left for me to utilize it and also ensure that the efforts that they put is not in vain. And that I promise.
This way, the Kogi Appeals Women and Youth Empowerment Program will not only achieve its set targets, it will be a reference point to other participating states in terms of outcomes, impact, and sustainability.